Yeah, one thing I noticed about camp, this past camp, was like there was no downtime. It was like no resting. It was either shadow boxing or just going full speed. There was
There,
like no rest between reps.
oh man, yeah. I well, actually, that's what I realized because the first thing that comes to mind when you say that, because I remember, and now that you say it, I was just shadow boxing, or I was moving, or I had so much energy this camp, and I think that's why. I mean, this is probably the biggest letdown of my entire career. I mean, it's 100% the biggest letdown of my entire career. I think I have never been more confident that I was going to win a fight. I've never been more confident. Is that my journal?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Look, I got my journal. UFC 303, Connor. It's that little bit, and then this whole thing right here was UFC 309. I mean, I this is a 400-page journal, and I journaled 300 pages. Like it's
Well,
actually
how many a
crazy.
day were you doing?
Man, I was doing 6, 7, 8 a day sometimes. And my wife Bree was like, not making fun of me, but kind of like joking. Like the amount of times she called me or texted me or FaceTimed me with the kids, and I would just have this journal in front of me, you know. And I think in that journal will make you believe or make you see how much I believed in myself. I believed that I was going to beat Charles Oliveira so much. Never in my entire life have I been this confident, you know? So I think that's why, losses are always painful, but I've had losses in which they're painful and I look back and think, well, I wasn't quite there mentally. I wasn't quite there physically, or I wasn't quite there from a skill standpoint, or a little battling a little injury or whatever it may be. This one was the best camp of my entire life. And when you were down there was what, the last week before we went to
Yeah, 2 weeks out from.
2 weeks out from the fight. So by then I'm firing on all cylinders. You didn't come down at all at camp at all because I was just so focused, and we'd shoot some stuff on the weekends, but I was just so focused, keeping the main thing. Two, most of the time, three workouts a day because I was doing the 10x stuff. So I was doing the red light therapy. I was doing the 15 minutes on the 10x hypermax oxygen. Body felt great. Mind was built up. Like I wrote in that journal so many times what was going to happen. And so it doesn't surprise me that it felt different because like, what did you say? You were,
Well, like I'm always looking for clips of you like sitting up against the cage, like for like some like thinking moment or something like that, like sweat dripping.
yeah.
But there was none of that because it was just
Yeah. There was
like a
no,
sparring partner. Like when y'all would like end your 3 minutes or whatever it was like
just
straight
kept
into the
moving.
next one.
Yeah. Just kept moving, going to the next one. Yeah. I mean, because that's when and I think back, like now it's kind of bringing back memories of that. Cause I do remember just having so much energy, and it's crazy how much increasing your mindset and increasing your mental state and increasing the vision that you have for yourself, and feeling like you're not just putting in the work, but you're putting in the right type of work. I was doing things differently, things that I've done differently. I mean, I've been fighting for 15 years, doing hand to hand combat for 24 years. And this camp was probably the most dialed in I've ever been. And it has everything to do with how much I wrote in that journal, how much I believed in myself, and just thought it was going to be destiny. Like people made fun of me when I gave the roadmap. I'm going to beat Charles Oliveira and then fight Islam next. Or if Islam's not ready, I'll fight Connor next. If Connor's not ready, I'll fight Max Holloway for the BMF belt. Like that's made a ton of sense to me. And I was going to go out there and I was going to beat Charles Oliveira. And, obviously it didn't happen. So I think but I also am so grateful for it, even though it didn't end the way that I wanted it to. I know I found a new gear. I found a new passion, and I found a new belief, and I found a new vision for myself. Like you said, I didn't find time to sit down and rest. It was as soon as we got done with a round, I'd be pacing back and forth. I'd be thinking about what I did wrong. I'm thinking about what I'm going to focus on next round. Henry, tell me what's up. You give me a little coaching cues, and we go to the next one. Or we get done with a the lift, done with a set, rest time, no sitting down. It was just, I was invigorated by so much in the camp because everything was perfect. And it seemed, and I think that's why it's so hard to accept. And that's why, busting with the boys, I was saying I was in the most pain of my life. I think my body, I had little injuries, my knees and thumb and rib, but I think my body hurt from the sheer letdown of truly 100% unashamedly believing in myself so high, more than I've ever experienced in my entire life, to then have the fight go the way that it is, even though, it was a good fight, great fight, fight of the night, Donald Trump, Kid Rock, Elon Musk, his entire cabinet, everybody on their feet, 20,000 people standing ovation in Madison Square Garden. And with all due respect to Charles, it wasn't him who made that fight exciting. If anything, he was trying to make the fight boring and trying to take me down, hold me, and I was fighting, getting back up, and then almost finish him in the 5th round, and then the back slams at the end. People felt something, that's for sure. And it's just, the pain I was going through was just as much, I think, emotional as it was physical. But it's funny that you bring that up because I remember that. As you said it, I was like, yeah, it was different this camp, because when you have 100% full, wholehearted belief in what you're doing, how you're going to do it, what steps you need to take, and you're taking those steps every single day, you're invigorated and energized by it. I had so much energy. Never woke up one day tired, never woke up one day sore, never woke up one day not feeling it. I mean, I would wake up and I would do my morning routine and I would get in that journal. I would watch fights. I had 5 or 6 specific fights I was watching every single day. Between practices, watching fights. And I'd never really done that. But it seemed like I had so much extra time because I was so laser focused and 100% sure that this was finally my opportunity. This was my road to the title. And falling short sucks badly. But, it always ends up working itself out somehow, some way. And if this was the last chance I got, it's the last chance I got. I think I remember leaving Madison Square Garden, and me and Bree got into a black car, a Suburban or a Yukon or something, and they took me back to the hotel, and I just started crying, and she held my hand, and it was just like, I was like, babe, I've lost in the past. I've lost titles. I've lost title shots. I've lost title fights. I've lost fights, but this one could have been the last one, and for a fighter, you're thinking, okay, I still got time on the clock. I still got my talents. I still got my abilities. I still got a path to get there, but it's not easy in the UFC. It's not easy. You got to string together some wins. You got to string together the right opportunities, the right fights. They got to be big enough. And I just, in that moment, maybe it was the emotion of losing, it just felt like, man, this could have been the last one. This could have been the last shot. I get one shot. I get one life. I get one fight career, and this could have been the last one. And to have been so confident going into it and then still falling short, you also got to say, well, man, maybe you're just not good enough. Maybe it's just not in the cards for you. So it was a very, very good experience, all of it, because I grew from it. I became better from it. I have been galvanized by those fires, which will in turn make me better, and maybe it won't ever make me a world champion, but it will make me a better man. It'll make me a better father, make me a better husband, make me a better human being. But the epiphanies I had in this camp that are in that journal were different, and they were palpable, and you could feel them. So as long as progress is being made, you're moving in the right direction.
You think you'll do the next camp the same way?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I got back and I've still been journaling, not as much as I have been in that camp, obviously, because I was just so laser focused. But I think that was so pivotal, because I think writing it down, it feels more uncomfortable for me to sit here and just think and say things in my mind about myself and who I am and why I deserve to be successful, why I deserve to be the man, why I deserve to be him, this idea of him, the man that I want to become. And at some point you continue trying to chase him when really you've already become him and you need to step into the shoes of him, right? So I think that's what happened this camp. But then the reward at the end of it didn't come because I didn't get the win, but I got the reward that's worth its weight in gold, even if the reward in the actual fight didn't take me closer to winning the gold in the physical, worldly view, you know? But man, I just remember being so invigorated by it all. And the biggest letdown is feeling like things could not have gone any more perfect. I would not change one day, 1 hour, one practice, one training session. I would not change 1 minute of the camp. I did every single thing that I possibly could. And I think it's the human condition that it's going to happen in life, that you're going to do every single thing that you could. You're going to do more than what was asked of you. You're going to do every single thing right. You're going to deserve to win, and you're just not going to get your hand raised, you know? And I think it's in those moments especially that you have to realize that the camp was successful. The training was successful. The fight, even though I lost, was successful. I did the best that I could. I know I can lay my head on the pillow with zero doubts of one thing, and that's that I gave my all. Was it a perfect performance? No. Was there some things that happened inside the octagon? An injury, hurt the leg, different things happening. Zig when I should have zagged, should have just stuffed that takedown, should have landed that shot, should not have switched to southpaw, should have switched to southpaw. You can go through 1,000 of the X's and O's, but the one thing that I know that I did right was prepare. And ultimately, you can't control what the outcome is going to be in life, but you can control how you prepare to put yourself in the best situation possible to be successful when the opportunity arises. And then when bad luck does befall you, or you do have a setback, or you do lose, or you do fail, how are you going to respond to that failure? So, painful, but we press on.
Better for it.
Better for it.